What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Most of our problems within this society would be solved if you had guys that learned how to stick up for themselves and for one another when they seen egregious stuff happening. Everybody think that they can do it on their own, and they don't realize that all of the problems that you're going to experience comes as a result of group effort. So when you see a bunch of women get together and they advocate against something, you as an individual can't stand against it, right? Let's just take, for example, the family court system, right? And they advocating against updating family court laws while advocating for the growth and the exponential growth, as a matter of fact, for the benefit of women, right? So for example, they want all of the pay, the accolades, they want provision, protection. They want traditionalism when it's convenient, but they also want to be modern when it benefits them and suits them. And then you'll have a simp that comes through and says, oh man, we should always protect women or always whatever, so on and so forth, when they don't understand that traditionalism is holding the women that's under your covering accountable in order to ensure that they're not doing the thing that's the worst for them, which is destroying you. And so you think you're above the group. And some of us, we can't operate within that sphere of, okay, well, I got my own household and so on and so forth. But what about when your kids go to school and they subjected to this feminist ideology that's then indoctrinating them to think differently? And then your son is going to grow up feminine when he's behind the 8 ball, behind the idea that you don't have the ability to really show him what a real man is because you're not in the household with him. And most people don't understand that it's going to be bad for them until they in that situation, and then they want to start getting on board. But that's not how it rolls. That's not what you're supposed to do. That's not how things happen. That's not how you're supposed to play it. And it's unfortunate that most people think that they're above the group instead of really paying attention to what's happening on a collective scale. And I think that part of that is just because there's been a lot of people within society, right, that has been raised by single mothers, and they've been taught to think a certain type of way, and based off of the way that they raised, they never gonna be able to understand that you are destroying yourself when you try to destroy the group. And there's never going to be enough box for you to get to be able to justify what you're gonna have to deal with as a result of it. And we mortgaging our children's future just so you can get some box. There's a scene in Gladiator where he's finally trying to get closer to, the king or whatever like that. And then they got to do this battle inside of the arena. And then you had the black guy, right? And then you had the main character. And then there was this other really, really huge guy. And they used to fighting on the outskirts. They used to fighting in places where they're acknowledged, but they've never actually fought in Rome, right? In the Colosseum. And so the general guy is trying to tell this really, really big guy, and he's trying to have a conversation with him. And he said, listen, anything that come through that door, we gonna survive if we stick together. And the big guy is used to being a monster, and he that guy, and he's able to handle everything on his own. And he said, listen, anything that come through that door, the only way we all gonna survive is if we stick together. If we separate ourselves, then we gonna get picked apart. That's the fastest way for us to get absolutely destroyed, right? But the big guy decided that he wanted to do what he wanted to do on his own anyway, right? And so they go out there and they fight and all of this stuff, and the big guy is then injured, and so everybody had to go out of their way in order to save him. And then eventually he became a part of the group, and they got victory, they survived, and he realized that as strong as I am, as awesome as I am, and I'm not telling people that they shouldn't be their own individuals, right? I'm not telling people that they shouldn't be great, right? The fastest way for us to really take accountability is to take accountability in our own homes. But what I am saying is that when you have these guys out here dirty macking, and so, for example, one of the things that I'm starting to see a epidemic of is guys having conversations about other men and trying to tear other men down in order to get in the minds or getting some box as a result of it. They trying to dirty mac their way into the woman's life, right? I see a lot of guys saying, oh man, that dude ain't nothing, or y'all still messing with them lames, or all of this other type of stuff. And this is in real life. I ain't talking about online, I'm talking in real life. And they think that tearing another dude down is going to, in the mind of the woman, automatically or somehow make him more valuable to her. And that's not how it works. I see this happening with a lot of these simps, right? When you having these conversations online and you saying, yo, men are behind the 8 ball, or family court laws need to be updated, or divorce is absolutely destroying dudes. You'll see a whole another dude over here and he's a single agent, or you'll see an individual and he'll be like, oh, that's because y'all not men. Or they take the Umar Johnson approach and they say, well, it's all men's fault that women are doing what it is that they want to do. How can you have that position, or how can you have that disposition when women can choose for themselves? They can choose who they want to sleep with, right? You can have 100 women and 99 of them will listen to the advice of their fathers. And then that one girl will go off and say, but I don't want to do what they want to do. Or 99% of the men can be all taking care of business. And it'll be one anomaly, one guy or 2 guys out here that's the worst for society. And then you take the majority of the women and then they'll go over and sleep with those 1 or 2 guys, and then all of the women get pregnant as a result of it. Is it the responsibility of the other 99% of the men, 98, 99% of the men? Or do you then hold the majority of the ones that's actually doing the worst damage accountable as a result of it? And a lot of guys, they like to take this euphoric approach where if guys just all got themselves together, then women will start to take care of business. I don't see it being a whole bunch of guys strip clubs out here. I see women strip clubs, right? I don't see a lot of guys out here having children under wedlock. That's a false narrative. Most guys take care of their children. Most guys have children within wedlock. Most guys, especially black men, are there for their children. But when you start to see things so stacked up against you, how can you not advocate for updating it or to fix it or to hold accountable the ones that's doing the most damage? That's like villainizing the people that's abiding by the law and paying their taxes and enabling the criminals. How do you not hold the criminals accountable? Then you become a sanctuary city and then you lose your entire country because the criminals are now running an insane asylum. And so guys on an individual level may be awesome, but I just want people to understand that you are not above the group, right? What happens in society ultimately affects your ability to be able to pivot and move around. One of the things that makes this country so awesome is that people that came before us made the sacrifice so you can be able to do what you want to do, right? But now we see guys going as rogue agents and they want to be that guy in Gladiator. They go out there and do what it is that he want to do. And then when he gets smoked, and then when he ends up in family court, and then when he finds himself in a negative position, then he wants to start and come back and be a part of the group in order to do the thing that he's supposed to do. See, I'm in a unique position, right? Because women can't come at me and hold me accountable for anything that I'm not doing, right? You can't say that I had a child out of wedlock. You can't say that I'm not married. You can't say that I'm not taking care of business. So the strategy that they then use is they say, well, why do you care if you're not the one suffering? I care because I'm paying attention to what's happening to everybody else, and I don't have to necessarily go through it in order to advocate for updating it and fixing a situation that I see is affecting the overwhelming majority of guys. It actually tears down what it is that I'm doing as far as trying to give people advice on how to be successfully married. If the odds are so stacked against you, I can't advocate for a dude to take that chance in the first place because it's a bad deal for a lot of dudes. And so I'd rather fix the core issue of the problem so that I can then give people the solution for how it is that they can move more effectively. But I can't do that as long as you out here simping, thinking that you winning, when in reality, you putting yourself behind an 8 ball trying to be a rogue agent. It don't work that way. And one of the reasons why the weaker vessel, which is women, have been able to get so much in society as far as getting things on their side is not because men are weak. They're inherently still stronger than women. Is because they band it together, and when you get 2 or 3 people together, they can pull 10 times their weight. That's just the reality. While you over there trying to pull twice your weight. It's stupid. It's the dumbest strategy that I've ever seen people take. But people will do it just because they think that they're above the group. Don't be above the group. Focus. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'll see y'all for the live stream tonight.